Hi, Film Loom here. Today I'm going to explain a thriller/sci-fi movie called Deus. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens. In the far future, Earth's population of 21 billion has pushed the planet to the brink of collapse. Amid the growing ecological crisis, a mysterious giant black sphere appears near Mars. To investigate, a team of 6 astronauts is dispatched on a spaceship called Achilles. They spend 8 months traveling in cryogenic sleep. Carla, the chief astronaut and scientist, spends much of her time dreaming about her daughter and mother, who tragically died in a car accident 2 years ago. With only 8 hours left before reaching the sphere, the crew is woken up from their slumber. As the crew stretches and adjusts, Carla notices Ruben, a crew member who is visibly shaken. This is Ruben's first time hibernating, and Carla suggests he rest. Ruben, however, is a vlogger eager to document his authentic experience for his large online fan base. Soon after, Carla meets with the ship's commander, Paul, in the control room. They attempt to scan the mysterious sphere, but the ship's AI cannot gather any data. Carla believes they should abandon the mission, but Commander Paul insists on pushing forward, determined to complete the task. Meanwhile, Ruben's anxiety worsens due to the lack of information about the sphere. The crew then contacts Vance, the head of the expedition program, who reassures them that Earth is eagerly waiting for answers. Vance stresses the importance of the mission's success, as people on Earth are suffering from multiple crises and cannot afford disappointment. After the meeting, the crew members return to their rooms, but strange things begin happening. Carla starts hearing her mother's voice echoing in the corridors, though no one is around. Meanwhile, Ruben is suddenly awakened by eerie whispers in his room. The unsettling atmosphere on the ship grows as the crew faces both external and internal mysteries. When Carla finally returns to her room, she receives a video call from Vance, who expresses concern over her tense demeanor. Carla reassures him that she's fine, but the call is abruptly cut off. The ship's AI then announces that the mysterious sphere is causing several anomalies in its system, increasing Carla's worry. She rushes to the main deck and finds the sphere emitting a bright beam of light aimed directly at the ship. The rest of the crew soon gathers and watches in shock as the light continues. Tez, one of the crew members, suggests that the light might be guiding the ship, indicating a path to follow. As the Achilles draws closer, the AI picks up a strange noise coming from the sphere. Carla quickly analyzes it and, with the help of the team, decodes the message that repeats the word Deus, Latin for God. Ruben, visibly disturbed, asks the crew to turn back, alarmed by the implications of the message. Carla agrees that they should pause the mission and wait for the AI to fix its communication devices, but Commander Paul insists on continuing, determined to push forward. Later, the crew finds Ruben in the corridor, crying and frantic. He's still in a state of panic, convinced that the light from the sphere is a sign of Judgment Day sent by God. He insists that he knows this because a divine voice is speaking to him. He urgently asks for the mission to be cancelled, before running off in distress. The crew then discusses their theories about the sphere. Ulf, a burly and muscular crew member, believes it is their duty to investigate the sphere, even suggesting that if it turns out to be an alien trick, they could destroy it. However, Commander Paul, monitoring the conversation through the ship's surveillance system, warns them against such action. As the ship nears the sphere, both Carla and Ruben begin hearing the mysterious voices again. Ulf, concerned, takes Carla to her room, where she finally opens up about her ongoing headaches, which began after the fatal car crash, though she omits mentioning the voices. Their conversation is interrupted when Tez informs them that Ruben has gone missing. Ignoring her own health concerns, Carla joins the crew in searching for the missing Ruben. The team splits up for efficiency, with Tez heading to the cargo bay. There, she discovers a horrifying sight. Ruben is performing some strange religious ritual behind a stack of containers. Tez screams in terror, prompting the others to rush to her location. By the time Carla arrives, it's too late. Tez is dead, her body lying on the floor with her insides spilling out. In a panic, Ruben takes Carla hostage, speaking frantically. He declares that humanity is beyond redemption and warns that if they land on the sphere, they will be slaughtered. Ruben accuses Commander Paul of hiding crucial information and urges the crew to take control of the ship from him. Just as Ruben continues his rant, Paul appears behind him and shoots him without hesitation, killing him instantly. Paul then calmly instructs Ulf to retrieve 2 body bags, showing no visible emotion despite losing 2 crew members. Carla, unsettled by the captain's coldness, confronts him, questioning how he can remain so detached after the deaths of their fellow crew members. Paul, however, remains focused, reminding her that their mission must come first. He walks away, dismissing her concerns. Elsewhere, Ulf opts to place the bodies in their hibernation chambers instead of body bags, perhaps as a sign of respect. With only 3 hours remaining before landing, the crew boards a smaller aircraft to navigate through the sphere's surroundings more efficiently. Carla notices a strange structure on the sphere but cannot identify it fully. When the ship finally lands on the sphere, the communication devices come back online, and the crew receives a call from Vance. He tells them that over 10,000 unidentified structures like the one Carla saw have appeared on Earth. Vance believes the sphere is responsible for this phenomenon and urges the crew to uncover its mystery as soon as possible. Following Vance's call, Carla, Ulf, and mechanic Sean suit up and leave the ship, while Paul monitors their movements through the ship's cameras. The surface of the sphere is entirely dark, making it difficult to see what lies ahead. Carla scans the surface and concludes that the sphere is made of an unknown element, one not yet discovered on Earth. The trio cautiously approaches the structure Carla noticed earlier and soon realizes it's some sort of gate. Suddenly, a bright light emanates from within the gate, and the crew hears an eerie noise, which is impossible in the vacuum of space. As Paul watches, he grows increasingly uneasy, sensing that they may have uncovered something far more dangerous than they anticipated. The light from the gate intensifies, and soon, a figure of a woman materializes in the center. Without hesitation, she begins transmitting messages directly into the crew's minds, which the ship's AI quickly translates. The being reveals that she speaks for the creator of all existence and has a message for humanity. The creator offers a choice: those who enter the gate-like structures on Earth will find eternal peace, but those who refuse will die when the sphere eventually crashes into the planet. Furthermore, the creator has chosen Carla to witness what lies beyond the gate and to relay her experience to Earth's people. Suddenly, the woman's figure morphs into the image of Carla's mother, telling her that someone is waiting for her on the other side. Overcome with emotion, Carla is hypnotized by the sight of her mother and steps into the light. As she walks forward, she experiences a vivid flashback of the car crash that took her mother's life, before finding herself near a golden city. To her astonishment, the wound from the crash, still fresh on her head, remains with her. As she surveys the surroundings, Carla spots her daughter nearby and eagerly runs toward her. However, just as they are about to reunite, Carla wakes up on the ship, lying on a table. Ulf explains that she was barely able to stand when she emerged from the gate, so he brought her back to the ship. Sadly, Sean, the mechanic, had collapsed near the structure and did not make it back. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from Vance, eager for details. Carla mentions the Golden City but omits the fact that she saw her family. Once the call ends, Carla asks Ulf about Sean's death, to which he responds that Sean's suit had ruptured. Carla isn't convinced by this explanation but chooses not to question it further. Later, as they walk down a corridor without security cameras, Ulf presses her about what she really saw inside the gate. Carla finally admits she saw her family, and also expresses her distrust of both Vance and Paul, believing they are hiding something. Before they can discuss further, Ulf returns to the deck, leaving Carla to ponder the mystery they are caught in. Ulf has a tense conversation with Captain Paul, who asks him what transpired between him and Carla when they were out of the camera's view. Ulf lies, claiming that Carla didn't reveal anything new. As the ship leaves the sphere's orbit, the AI announces that the crew must prepare to hibernate in 1 hour. Meanwhile, Carla grabs a knife and heads to check Sean's body in the pod. Just as she suspected, his suit appears to be perfectly intact, with no signs of rupture. Furious, Carla storms into Paul's room, searching for answers. Unbeknownst to her, Paul is monitoring her movements via the security cameras, and he sends Ulf to confront her. Inside Paul's room, Carla discovers a gun and some classified files. She begins to skim through the documents but is interrupted when Ulf arrives outside the door. Desperate, Carla draws the gun, aiming it at him and warning him not to move. She quickly reads through the files, learning that Ulf is an ex-elite corps soldier. Ulf tries to explain that he left his past behind, denying any knowledge of the sphere or its purpose. But Carla forces him to accompany her back to the main deck, where she points the gun at Paul, demanding answers. Paul warns her that mutiny is punishable by death, but Carla counters by revealing that Sean was killed by a gunshot. She accuses Ulf of the murder, given his violent background as a former hitman. The confrontation is interrupted by a call from Vance. He insists he's not the villain, claiming that all his scientists believe Carla truly saw heaven. Vance also reveals that he had broadcasted footage of the sphere, and billions of people on Earth have gathered in the streets, desperate to escape the planet. This revelation shocks Carla, and in the chaos, Paul tries to overpower her. After a brief struggle, Carla manages to shoot Paul in the chest, killing him instantly. However, she's injured during the fight, with a deep wound in her abdomen. Ulf reveals to Carla that he has the code to override the ship's AI, which would allow them to regain control of the vessel's course. However, doing so would require them to jettison a significant amount of weight from the ship, which would render their main propulsion system useless. As a result, their trip back to Earth would take more than 5 years. This revelation leaves Carla feeling hopeless, but Ulf assures her that he has a backup plan. Carla, still determined to challenge Vance, returns to the ship's deck and calls Vance once again. Fully convinced that the sphere is a lie, she threatens to destroy it if necessary. This forces Vance to reveal the truth. He activates a series of classified files that show the manufacturing process of the element Carla discovered earlier. Vance admits that he was the one who created the sphere using this element. His true goal, however, was not to save Earth, but to destroy it. The sphere, he explains, was never meant to bring salvation, nor was it a tool of God. The entire purpose of the sphere was to create panic, pushing people to flock toward the gates that had appeared across the planet, believing they were entering heaven. In reality, they were walking to their deaths. Vance's plan was to kill 15 billion people in a controlled population culling to prevent Earth's overpopulation from destroying the planet. Carla is stunned and demands an explanation for the visions she experienced when she entered the gate. Vance reveals that he implanted a chip in her head 2 years ago, after the accident that killed her family. Everything she had experienced, including the visions of her family, was part of his carefully constructed plan to condition her for this mission. The realization that Vance had orchestrated the death of her family and manipulated her for this journey overwhelms Carla, and she begins sobbing, calling him a monster. At that moment, Ulf contacts Carla, telling her that he has accessed the Achilles core. Vance, now aware of their plan to destroy the sphere, orders the ship's AI to initiate an autodestruct sequence. Alarms blare as the AI announces that the Achilles will explode in 3 minutes. Enraged, Carla shoots the hologram machine, severing her communication with Vance. She quickly contacts Ulf, who gives her the code to separate the main ship from the cargo area. However, Ulf is still trapped in an elevator connecting the 2 sections of the ship, and it won't be fast enough for him to return to the main deck in time. Ulf insists that Carla leave without him, but she refuses. Just as the countdown timer nears 0, the Achilles begins exploding in multiple areas. With no time left, Carla is forced to separate the ship from the rest of the structure. She watches in horror as the remainder of the spacecraft is completely destroyed. However, Ulf contacts her again, revealing that he managed to cross over at the very last moment. The 2 survivors later share a drink to celebrate their survival, and they discuss their next steps. Ulf explains that, due to the damage sustained by the ship, the detonation of the core will need to be done manually. Carla realizes that there is no other way to destroy the sphere and agrees that they will do it together. When the ship finally lands near the sphere, Ulf locks the door behind him, leaving Carla inside. He tells her that she must return to Earth to tell humanity the truth about the sphere and